What up, everyone? NanMan here, and we've got some fun off-meta decks for you here over at NanMans Nerd Corner as we continue our modern adventures here. We've got an old-school deck known as Bogles, and it's playing against Abzan Rhinos. So if you've never seen these decks feature before, we'll talk and break it down a little bit for you here. Of course, Abzan Rhinos has been featured on the channel before, so you can check out those. Of course, if you want to see more about the deck lists themselves, you could be able to check that out in the description for our Moxfield link. But Bogles' whole goal that existed from back in the day is you're going to play a hexproof creature, and then you're going to put a bunch of auras and enchantments on that creature and basically go for a pure strategy where you're basically loading it up and going all in Voltron mode against your opponent. The other side of things, Abzan Rhinos is all about getting out a siege rhino, a skirmish rhino, flickering, doing some drainy stuff like that. But here we see the first hexproof creature, ethereal armor popping up, gets +1/+1 for each equipment as well as first strike. So that is, definitely relevant in some aspects of doing battle here. But we see Birds of Paradise was able to pop up for a rhino player. And now they're kind of piecing together and looking through things to see what they can be able to set up here. Looks like we are turn 2. We're going to be dropping down a 3-mana Warden of the Grove. So this might be a card most people are not familiar with because you might think it's like in the days of Modern, you want your stuff to be able to do something. And one of the things that it is able to do is help buff up, strengthen your creatures, or give you some kind of blockers by being able to go a little bit wide, making some spirit. So has a little bit of versatility with it within the list here. But Daybreak Coronet, big, powerful enchantment, one of the best auras out there for this. The only downside to it is if the Abzan Rhino player had a way to kill the ethereal armor and there was no other auras attached to Glade Clever Scout here, the Daybreak Coronet would immediately fall off. And so there is that element of you might be able to get lucky and be able to kind of 2-for-1 your opponent early on before the number of enchantments kind of overwhelm. But the lifelink, the vigilance, all of this extra power is definitely helpful. And in a world where there's not really a lot of Liliana the Veils and things like that forcing us to sacrifice one single creature, we can kind of set ourselves up. And also in a world of like Jeskai Blink where people are sitting here and being like, well, here's a Flage and here's a Solitude, right? You can be able to kind of go, no, you can't target my stuff. So I'm just going to keep beating you down, and we'll do a little bit of a race. All right, so Siege Rhino coming out. It's doing the immediate little bit of the drain effect. We also have our 1/1 Spirit hitting the battlefield here off of the Warden. And then end of the turn, of course, does get a little bit stronger here. I mean, you already got a 4/5. That's pretty solid. All that glitters. So the amount is increased. We've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Swinging in, Vigilance, Lifelink, First Strike. Oof. There's 10 coming across. So I don't think, like, we do the double block here, but we don't really need to, right? We can just throw the Spirit in the way because there's no trample yet. So I think that was a little slight misplay here. And we talk about that all the time on the channel when we see these sort of moments because, hindsight's 2020. We're looking back. We do try to make our channel a little bit more educational and entertaining here. So we get these moments that we can go, oh, hey, in these situations, we can learn from these mistakes so we don't make them again. Or in the moment, you might not even notice and just been like, nope, I'm just going to throw these in the way. That's fine. Help protect my life. Not thinking there was trample or thinking there was trample when there actually wasn't. But Eldamri's Call going to be utilized here. Let's go tutor up. My guess is what, another Rhino, get a flicker effect. Where are we going for here? You can see a bit of the choices grabbing. Let's see, what do we got? I mean, there's a pretty good amount of choices to go through here. But yeah, it looks like we're going to go for the Skirmish Rhino as the option. So if we have another land, we could be able to deploy that this turn. That's where the Birds of Paradise definitely comes in handy. There we go. Lose 2, and Skirmish Rhino will basically net us back 2 and do the drain. So like we're getting a good amount of draining, and you think about like if you're playing against normal decks that are like fetching and shocking, like this drain damage is definitely relevant and it definitely has an effect on players. But And we're just going to keep going. Here's 10. All right, throw this in the way. Now, if you're watching us here, of course, we do have gameplay every Monday and Thursday, and we're going to start sprinkling in, of course, the beginning of the month. Every Saturday at the beginning of the month will be MTGO content. And then at the end of the month, we're going to start sprinkling in some extra gameplay for you guys that's not Modern related. We're looking into, we've got some standard gameplay at the end of February. We've got some legacy games that players have started to practice and kind of learn from. Ooh, Cosmic Rebirth. Choose a permanent card in your graveyard, mana value 3 or less. You can put it on the battlefield, and we're going to bring back this Skirmish Rhino. So a bit of a life swing. Again, just sort of, we're seeing the cool elements of this Abzan Rhino deck and what it's trying to do here. And you still just have like almost a bunch of blockers, right? We're fine with it. The problem is this Vigilance really messes things up here. There you go. First strike, Vigilance, lifelink, +3/+3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 damage. Whoa. Big hits. 15 damage. No trample yet. So still haven't found a Rancor. Still haven't found like a Gifts Boon or anything to give it flying, but yeah, we'll just keep throwing people in the way. Oh my gosh. 2 mana here. What do we got? Yeah, I was like, what the heck is this card? What is this thing? I don't even think I've put the... Okay, I was like, did I even find the image of it? Gateway Glamour. Basically, it's another flicker effect here for our Siege Rhino. So you can see the deck is chock full of these type of flicker effects, so you can get like double value off of things here. Now, you all know I love being able to build decks and sit here and mess around with things, and that is one of the fun and exciting things of being able to have Modern is you can really build whatever you want and mess around with players and mess around with different decks. And that is one of the things that our Abzan Rhino player is starting to do, is like starting to brew up these off-meta but fun decks. Because, you know, Modern is such a deep and diverse format that you can get away with it. I mean, we have a player that's currently piloting Mud at our shops. We've got a match from that coming up soon you guys can check out. If you're not familiar with Mud, it's basically just like artifacts, but it's got some taxing effects with like lodestone golems and stuff. But ooh, double Warden of the Grove coming out here. So again, just sort of like setting ourselves up, building up our count. I mean, we're just going to be infinitely blocking, it seems like. We also have some, you know, humans versus Simic. Oh, that'll do it. Spirit Mantle. +1/+1, pro creatures. Let's do the big beats. Dropping the hammer down there. We're interrupting our gameplay to let you know about our new affiliate with Nerd Gear. nerdgear.gg/nanman will take you directly to the website, and as you can see, they've got a bunch of awesome gaming accessories from playmats, life counters with the life tracks, playmat holders, and more. So make sure you do some browsing on the site, find some goodies, and then use the code NGNanman for 5% off your entire order. But let's get back to our gameplay. Yeah, really, this deck has not changed much since it kind of was a thing back in the like 2013 to 2015 era of Modern. Light Paws came out. That might be the newest edition. All That Glitters is the newest edition. But like for the most part, like the base set of it is like, oh, we're doing these... oh, what did they change the name to it? So they used to be known as... Oh, the Umbras. That's what it is. I was like, they used to be known as like Totem Armors, and they've since changed them to Umbra Armors. So basically it says if this creature would die or be destroyed, you can drop this enchantment off of it instead. Now that does not work with sacrifice effects because, you know, you're sacking the creature. But so we will see a little bit of a mulligan in here for our Rhino player as we get into game number 2. But yeah, both of these decks, you know, the Bogles is definitely old school, doesn't really see much or any play at the moment. But it's, you know, it's fun to have in rotation and in the collection. I like having a variety of decks to be able to do and use. And we'll probably do at some point a, you know, tournament of decks of the ones that I have. I mean, there's some that I do not have, right? I'm anti-zoo. The idea of having a I don't know, Boros energy doesn't sound that appealing. There's certain like aggro-y strategies that I'm like, eh. Like I like the combo-y aggro stuff. Like give me the infect, give me this Boggle stuff where you're kind of like creature-based combo-y elements. Boggles isn't really a combo deck, but it's more of just like 1, 2, 3, Voltron, getcha. Speaking of Voltron, our first little bit of hexproofing coming out. Glade Cover Scout hitting here. Speaking of elves, we've got an elf deck that's in the works, that's almost done. And I know there's people like, I thought you were building Samwise combo. We are. That's a slower build-up because Warren Soul Trader, I still haven't pulled the trigger on. I should, but... All right, Moon Dancer coming in. Whenever you gain life, put a +1 counter on it. Scry 1. I believe that's like a sideboard card for this player. I don't know. I feel like there's some... I like Veto and the Black Rose and things like that over that. Like gaining life, putting counters on it is nice, but I would much rather see some like more swingy elements that could be added for the Rhinos side of things. But Core Spirit Dancer coming out here does care about auras, lets us draw cards. Warden of the Grove gonna hit again. We saw that before, able to kind of build up, get counters, endure. Also, I love the art for it. Like, I don't know, the kind of like black out border that we got to see is really cool. That like con style. I think it fits perfect with that set. But all right, first one, Hyena Umbra will trigger. So we talked about that. It does have that totem armor, which has since been errata to Umbra armor. And we're just going to kind of split the difference here. Now, we are casting an aura. So Core Spirit Dancer will still trigger, allowing us to draw a card, even if we're not equipping it. Now, Core Spirit Dancer is normally an O2, but it does get +2/+2 for each aura equipped to it. Or attached to it. How is it attached? That makes sense, right? Instead of equipped. Equipped is for equipments. Attached. I don't know. Wordings. English is hard, right? All right, what do we got here? What's our next follow-up? Oh, Ethereal Armor. Okay, so we are building up a very scary board. What are we at? 3 enchantments out there. So Glade Cover Scout's a 4/4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 15 damage? Okay, so let's see, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8. So not, all right, not as much. Math is hard. English is hard, math is hard. It is what it is. Why am I choosing to do math on camera? Who knows, but it is what it is here. So we've got, of course, at least one blocker, and there's no trample, so we're fine with this. Take 4, no problem, because we're expecting to gain some life. All right.
That was good.
Skirmish Rhino. There's the life we were expecting to get. And we can make a token here. So that'll help give us a blocker. But we also have a Chord of Calling. So the question is, I mean, I don't know. With the Grove Hydra here, we could set ourselves up nicely. Yeah, end turn. Tick it up. I dig it. I dig it. Set up for the collected. Hey, there's all that glitters. Trigger, it is an aura. Respondent. Collected Company. Ooh, pretty good finds here. We've got a Felia and a Skirmish Rhino. Those will most likely be grabbed here. And probably we'll see, make some spirits off of the Hydra before it dies. Or use the spirits to block. Yeah, there we go. Felia coming out. Skirmish Rhino coming out. That'll be a 2 life swing, so 15 all. All right, making the tokens. Here's some 2/2 spirits. All right, drawing off all that glitters. Land. Looking for, again, evasion. Rancor's really good. There's the trample. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 10 power, 15, 20, 22, 23 power. Trample. Plus the Glade Cover Scout. Yeah. Okay. Which is what? Currently 9? Another ethereal armor? Oh no, we're going all in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 enchantments. And so that's 14 off the core Spirit Dancer already. And now we do plus 14, plus 14, or plus 7, plus 7, plus 7. So 21 extra. Oh my god, it's too much. Math is hard. Here's a lot. Oh god. I mean, that's the stuff. Like, when you were playing this Boggle deck, those are those moments that you're living for, of sitting there. Okay, so it was exact. Our Abzan Rhino said, if I block everything, it's exactly 15 trample damage, which is wild. Which is wild that can happen with this. But there's moments like that where you're like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then you play against some other decks, and you're like, oh, I just stumble. It's a very mulligan heavy deck. If you are okay with mulliganing, this is the deck for you. But it's like low creature count that you just need to get one of those out and start going quick to be able to really utilize the deck. Where the Abzan deck is a much slower, we're building up. We're going to just kind of keep getting to the point where we're blinking and flickering stuff. We get to see Knight to be able to kill enchantments. Also, the flicker stuff is really nice with that. No Force of Vigors or anything in the board to kind of help out. I like Force of Vigors still, especially in our meta where there is a lot of artifacts still running around. It can be very useful and very helpful. But, look at that. The White Orchid Knight there. So, yeah, lots of cool cards. Hope you guys enjoyed both of those decks in action. We've got, of course, a lot more gameplay for you guys coming up every Monday and Thursday for Modern. MTGO the first Saturday of the month, and more gameplay the end of the month on a Saturday. Standard, Legacy, Pioneer, all kinds of cool stuff there. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for tuning and watching, y'all, and I'll see you all next game.